If any one of you have been in the Negro sector of the manosphere long enough, you know that discussions around Pookie and Ray-Ray have been always one of a hostile argument between the educated lames and other bloggers and YouTubers. It's not so much about the hooligans themselves. Instead, it has more to do with black women's choices concerning the mating process. Is it really true that all African American women want the quote-unquote losers known as Pookie and Ray-Ray? Now, before we get into that, we have to understand that there are two archetypes of Pookies and Ray-Rays. The first archetype is pre-selected due to a set of circumstances. For whatever reason, this Pookie or Ray-Ray have always attracted women since they were young and have mostly been involved in either the drug game heavily, gang culture, street pimping, or other notorious crimes. This Pookie and Ray-Ray legitimately have a reputation in the streets. This archetype is more in alignment with the alpha bad boy concept. The other archetype is just an everyday hoodlum with no reputation that black women generally don't find attractive. It's possible for a man to be hood and still be a nobody or an underdog, aka beta male. Moreover, in reference to author Ron Will's blog post on the negromanosphere.com, he stated that the issue lies within women's hypergamy. Author Ron Wills defines hypergamy by social class, emphasizing that only women of the same or of a lower social class pursue Pookies and Ray-Rays. He also noted that men of a higher social class are usually the ones complaining about this issue. Author Ron Wills emphasized on how women of a lower social class tend to promote their sexuality more than women of a higher social class. I partly agree and partly disagree with his argument. It is possible for anyone to change their social class. All a person has to do is associate with the right people of that social class. If the issue is money, a person's financial life can always change. And if the issue is their mindset, a person can most likely change their paradigm by hanging around someone that they trust that's of a particular social class. We all know in this sphere that women use their sexuality as their primary agency over men's lives. Men who consider themselves as educated lames shouldn't worry about competing for women who seek out Pookies and Ray-Rays, because women that usually entertain thugs and men of the streets have very different paradigms. The question is, do all African American women yearn for street dudes? The short answer to this question is no. One significant reason why is because all black women don't come from the same background or even have the same taste in men. We can never fully know for sure if every black woman wants a Pookie or Ray-Ray type. However, we do see enough black women in the Western world displaying a certain level of fondness for these types of men despite their age and their socio-economic background. The bad boy effect is universal, but it seems to be more predominant in black America in terms of pair bonding. For some black women, if you don't at least have the image of the bad boy, they don't even see you. Improving your look as a black man can at least get black women to turn their heads if you're interested in pursuing them. Black men from the suburbs and the ones that grew up in the hood and stayed away from the street life to become a productive member of society, or at the least became a person of real substantial value, shouldn't concern themselves with women that are solely focused on chasing bad boys. This is where the so-called educated lames go wrong. Another problem is that black America is too focused on what happens in the media. A lot of black people are so consumed by mass media that they end up modifying their identity and emulating icons that are either paid actresses or famous musicians. Most people in the black community struggle with their identities, and it's not all of their fault, as this is not only a personal issue, but a community issue. Anyways, let's get back to the point. All black women don't want Pookies and Ray-Rays, and if they did, it was due to what appealed to them at a certain period of their lives. When women choose, they can choose a man for different reasons. This can be in terms of friends with benefits, lover, or provider. When women are evolving, some of them tend to experiment with various types of personalities and relationships. These relationships can range from heterosexual to bisexual and poly to monogamy. If a woman came from a healthy family, choose to pursue a relationship with a Pookie or Ray-Ray, it probably didn't last long. This goes back to a woman pursuing alpha fucks of their hypergamous sexual strategy. The truth of the matter is that Pookie and Ray-Ray just know how to turn them on. Kevin Samuel share a lot of commentary on the state of African American women in terms of relationships. Is Kevin Samuels making a point about black women? Maybe a certain demographic, but not all. This is more true for black women that came up in urban environments. This is in no way stereotyping women from urban environments. In the manosphere, specifically the Negro manosphere, it is often believed that Pookies and Ray-Rays are responsible for single-parent homes within the black community, the gun violence, and why black men are generally perceived to be thugs. This is in no way or shape defending Pookies and Ray-Ray types. The African American community is about everyone in a community. Men who aren't of the streets tend to get puzzled by how even some of the most wealthiest and cultured black women are sympathetic towards Pookies and Ray-Rays. What these black men have to understand is that these may be the same women that have been imprinted by a bad boy in their past. This has something to do with the issue as well. When we examine the state of black heterosexual relationships according to different data sets, it's really depressing. I wouldn't blame the Pookies and Ray-Rays entirely for this community issue. This is a generational curse that have been endemic for a very long time. I may touch on this issue a little more later on. Until then, next time.